company is called doTERRA, and we actually just celebrated a few days ago our 2-year anniversary since we processed our very first order. And we've gone from just a handful of us to now tens of thousands of us around the world. The name of our company is a Latin word, and it means doTERRA. Do means gift of, and terra means earth, and so gift of the earth is the meaning of our name, and very appropriate for the product line that we represent, which is primarily essential oils. Now, I was introduced to essential oils many years ago, almost 15 years ago, by a very good friend of mine, and I thought they were completely strange, that it was very, very weird stuff, and I was a little bit hesitant at first. But as I began to use the essential oils and discover their abilities, it was an amazing journey to be able to take control of our own health care through these natural plant remedies. One thing that I'd like for all of you to know about doTERRA essential oils before we get started tonight is they are all CPTG certified. What that means is certified pure therapeutic grade. They're 100% natural. There's no artificial ingredients. There's no chemical fillers. There's no cutting agents. They're 100% safe and certified free of pesticides or other chemical residues. They're also sourced from their original origin, where we can have the strongest potency possible in creating and bringing about the essential oil, the liquid plant extract. Because of that, these oils are safe for use both internally, topically, in massage or other therapeutic modalities, and also aromatically, such as in aromatherapy. So we're very excited to be able to offer the CPTG standard of essential oils, and this new oil, which is the topic of our webinar this evening, Slim and Sassy, is composed of 5 different CPTG essential oils, and we're super excited about this new blend. It's only been out for I guess coming up on a month now. In just a few days it will be a month, and we're just having such amazing results around the company, around the world, around the country, people sharing their experiences, and hopefully we'll be able to hear many of those tonight. So we're going to take, this will not be a long webinar this evening. We're going to take the first few minutes and talk about the science behind this blend, and then we'll share some experiences and some suggested usages of the Slim and Sassy. We have with us this evening the formulator of this blend, Dr. David Hill, and he is also, as most of you probably know, our Chief Medical Officer and one of our company founders, company owners. And many of you have probably heard him speak in vivo, and if you haven't, certainly take opportunity to do so when that opportunity presents itself. He is one of the most authoritative experts on essential oils in the world, and so I would encourage all of you to pay very close attention tonight as he talks about why this blend is literally going to revolutionize the weight loss or fat burning industry, which, by the way, is $1 billion business. Most of us have a little extra few pounds that we'd like to lose and get rid of, and this is a tool that we can now use to help us do that in a safe and effective manner. So
I have this great opportunity to be involved in increasing the understanding and the research of essential oils, especially in the medical community, in the medical environment. I've just returned from Nashville, where there I was with a major hospital, and yet again we had some great success in beginning a relationship to incorporate the use of essential oils more fully. We're going to transition that to when we're talking about the Slim and Sassy tonight, as is the case with all of the oils that we produce, and especially the ones where we've blended them together. We look at the science behind the essential oils. We live in a very exciting time with essential oils in that we no longer have to make assumptions as to how or why things work. There's a lot of research and a lot of information. So everything we'll talk about tonight will be founded in some of the science. Let me go ahead and talk with you a little bit about Slim and Sassy, and just make a point that obesity has become the most common metabolic disorder in the world. It's interesting, even as I travel out of the country now, the amount of obesity that seems to be present. There's really 2 primary factors why obesity is one of the biggest issues that we deal with, especially in a metabolic sense. One is the amount of calories that we consume, and also the type of calories we consume. One of the best ways to reduce body fat is simply to reduce caloric intake. And one of the things you're going to learn tonight is how the Slim and Sassy, how that essential oil blend will actually help you do that, and some pretty exciting information that way. The other major contributing factor associated with that is a sedentary lifestyle. And one of the recommendations I'd like to give tonight before we get into the science of Slim and Sassy is that you develop a habit or a routine for some form of exercise on a regular daily basis. Try to exercise at least 20 minutes a day, and you'll have great improvement in terms of your metabolic function in your body. Now, I want to define a couple of quick terms for you, because if we look at how fat is produced in the body, and if we look at how fat is eliminated in the body, these two terms are going to become really important. The first one is called adipogenesis. I want to explain this to you because tonight I'm going to help you understand how the essential oils help to reserve or stop adipogenesis. Adipogenesis is the formation of adipocytes, or fat cells, from stem cells specifically. An activation of several different proteins activated in the body, and eventually we end up with a fat cell. And we know that fat cells can increase and decrease in size, and when they decrease in size, that's something known as lipolysis. Lipolysis is the process through which adipocytes release fatty content. Lipolysis is more generally a metabolic process in the body. It's stimulated by some type of metabolic action or activity. Sometimes that's a chemical response in the body. A few moments ago, I talked about exercise. Exercise represents a good way of how we stimulate lipolysis through a metabolic process in the body. So let's talk about some of the oils and things that are associated with the Slim and Sassy blend. Ideally, what we want to create when we use this blend is we want to reduce the amount of adipogenesis, or the formation of new fat cells, while at the same time we're increasing lipolysis, or in other words, encouraging our fat cells to go ahead and eliminate the amount of fat that they have stored, thus reducing their size, and we have weight loss. Slim and Sassy, this is really an exciting blend. Cinnamon, ginger, peppermint, lemon, grapefruit. The taste is amazing, and this was one of the funnest things about creating this blend, was having something that had both an amazing aroma but also a taste that was very pleasing. Cinnamon reduces the risk factors, and the risk factors associated with that specifically, we're going to approach it in three different ways. The first risk factor that we want to reduce with obesity is we want to improve liver function. One of the things that happens with your liver is that your liver becomes damaged, and it becomes overactive. We have an elevation of enzymes, and it's really interesting. Cinnamon essential oil. Okay, I guess people are having a difficult time hearing me, so we're going to pause for just a brief moment. I don't know what it is. It seems every time we do a webinar, I have technical difficulties. Better? Okay, we're going to see if people can hear us better now. So if you have been having difficulty hearing, then from this point forward you won't have any more difficulty. We're talking about reducing the risk factors associated with obesity, and one of the primary risk factors is that we do see liver damage, and we see that by way of elevated liver enzymes. One of the most functional parts of cinnamon, through research, it's been noted and learned that we can decrease the amount of liver damage that we have just by using cinnamon on a regular basis. Now, that occurs for a couple of different reasons. One is that we know that cinnamon, for example, is a tremendous antioxidant, but it's also very supportive of those kinds of tissues. Now, another secondary risk factor associated with obesity is serum lipid balance. We're all very familiar with cholesterol. We have high cholesterol, we have low cholesterol. We define that by two different types of cholesterol: low density, LDL. An easy way to remember that that's the bad cholesterol is just think of lousy cholesterol, LDL. And then we have high density lipoprotein, or the good cholesterol, which is the happy cholesterol, HDL. When we have high levels of LDL, and this is one of the things that we have associated with increased weight gain or obesity, is we have high levels of this unhealthy type of fatty tissue that we have in our blood, these serum lipid levels. One of the things that cinnamon bark does is it brings those lipid levels into balance. In other words, you can lower the amount of LDL that you have, that bad lipoprotein, while at the same time you increase the levels of the good cholesterol in your body. So we reduce the risks overall of cardiovascular disease as it's associated with obesity because of cinnamon. Now, the other risk factor associated with obesity is diabetes, and diabetes is a little bit of an issue. And when we have increased levels of sugar in our body, we're all very familiar with, as we lose our ability to process that sugar appropriately, that we have diabetic outcomes associated with that. One of the things that we have associated with the cinnamon is that we have improved ability for the body to reduce our insulin resistance. In other words, we can metabolize sugars more appropriately. And many of you are very familiar with that cinnamon is one of the most functional oils that we use for reducing diabetes. The primary function associated, even though we're reducing all of these risk factors associated with obesity, the reason why we have cinnamon bark in the Slim and Sassy blend is that it prevents adipogenesis. In other words, it stops your body from producing new fat cells. This is one of the primary reasons why when we say cinnamon is a metabolic blend and helps you reduce weight, that's why we're stopping adipogenesis. Now, the next oil we want to talk about in this blend is ginger. Now, ginger stimulates weight loss in a very different way. And there was a study that was done not too long ago that was talking about ginger essential oil. And it stated within that that ginger has a significant impact on weight loss and stimulates weight loss, but it stimulates weight loss through a very interesting process. It stimulates weight loss through lipolysis. Now, through a process that we probably don't need to take time to explain because of how complicated it gets. Essentially, your body produces more epinephrine in the presence of ginger. And that, through a process of an enzymatic action within the adipocytes themselves, causes them to release fat. So I know some of the technology that we're talking about might be complicated, but the simpleness of it is that when you take ginger oil and when you use it consistently, your cells have a tendency to release the fat that they're holding, specifically the adipocytes. Peppermint is an essential oil that I know that there's a lot of other uses in what we're discussing tonight, and peppermint is one of the most widely used essential oils that there is. But one of the most significant things here associated with peppermint is that peppermint will curb your appetite, and it will also reduce the cravings that you have. And many people are reporting now, as Justin said, we've had this blend available for only about 30 days, but a lot of people are reporting to me that they've lost their cravings. And there's some good reason why that. There was a study that was done not too long ago at Wheeling Jesuit University. It's in West Virginia. The doctor who did the study, his name is Dr. Raudenbush, he made a very interesting observation. When the people or the individuals in the study used peppermint with consistency on a daily basis, on average, they consumed 2,800 fewer calories per week than did those who were not using the peppermint in the study. Another really interesting detail that he discovered in this study was that those on a caloric intake restriction of 1,800 calories or less, for 7 days as they did this study, what they discovered is that those who even were on a restricted calorie diet, they consumed an average of 23% fewer calories specifically from fat and sugar. In other words, what he's saying here is that the peppermint essential oil reduces cravings as well as it controls appetite. It's diminished by use of the essential oil. Now, there's something else that's significant with the peppermint essential oil, and that is that peppermint increases the sense of fullness and satisfaction after eating. It creates satiety or balance in the body from a nutritional standpoint. So we simply don't have the desire to eat as much food as what we normally would. The other thing that was interesting in this study, and there were several studies that actually promote this particular aspect of it, is that peppermint actually enhances the flavor and the taste of the food that you're consuming, meaning that it would be a good idea to use the Slim and Sassy during your meal. We're proposing that you add this every time you drink water. Improving the taste, the experience of the food also is another way that neurologically and also when we think of it cognitively, we reduce our desire to eat as much. It's really fascinating how some of these processes work. And when we look at peppermint essential oil, what it's really doing is it's working through the central nervous system to accomplish an aspect of weight loss. Let's talk a little bit about the next oil, which is the citrus oils. And we're going to talk about both grapefruit and lemon in the same context. Grapefruit and lemon collectively help you to reduce your appetite. Why they do that is actually a very interesting process. And one of the things that we know about grapefruit and that we know about, in fact, all citrus oils is that they have high amounts of limonene. We know that limonene has many health benefits, but today I want to talk about limonene in the context of how your body produces fat. Remember very early on I told you that one of the ways that your body produces fat, the only way it does, is through something that we call adipogenesis. This is where we take a stem cell. This is a mesenchymal stem cell. And through a process called protein farnesylation, we have different proteins that attach to one another, and it creates a conversion process in conjunction with some enzymes to form an adipocyte. In other words, we take one cell and we turn it into another type of cell. One of the ways that we can reduce fat is if we can interfere with that protein segment. And one of the things that we've learned now about limonene is that limonene interferes with that protein segment or the conversion of a stem cell into an adipocyte. It inhibits that, and so we don't have the differentiation. Your body simply does not produce as many fat cells. Woohoo! There's the real science behind what we're talking about here. Well, the other thing that's interesting about this process is you've all heard of limonene as being an inhibitor for tumors. Limonene inhibits tumors in the exact same way we're talking about that limonene inhibits, in this case, an adipocyte. Now, there's a couple of other things associated with the citrus oils, and let me just touch on them real quickly. One is that citrus oils, this is what makes the citrus oils so unique, and why there's two citrus oils in this blend, both grapefruit and lemon. They not only reduce adipogenesis, I just told you how they prevent your body from producing fat cells, but limonene also causes lipolysis in your cells. So not only do you not produce as many, but the fat cells that you do have, those that have increased in their size, we can begin to release fat from those cells in the presence of limonene for very much the same reason. So we get this dual action associated with the grapefruit and the lemon, and that makes them, of course, a very important factor in the Slim and Sassy blend, and that's why they're both in there. Now, there's one more aspect with the citrus oils that we should touch base on real quickly, and that's the reduction of whole body toxicity. I know that one of the ways that your body deals with toxicity is that it can and does isolate it. And generally it does isolate it within fatty tissue. So when we say that the essential oils are cleansing, and all oils with monoterpenes, by the way, and we know that all essential oils have monoterpenes, are cleansing. But especially the citrus oils are that way, and it's because of the limonene creating the lipolysis. The other thing that limonene does, and this is why this is a really important thing to do daily, we're not only now releasing the toxicity because we're releasing the fat from the tissues, and so we're liberating the toxicity, but at the same time, again because of the limonene, we're increasing the amount of glutathione, that antioxidant that you've heard me talk so much about, which acts now as a chelator for the toxicity. So your body also has at the same time a natural way or a process in which it can get rid of the toxicity. We don't want to liberate it without having an effective way to get rid of it from your body. So the citrus oils in this blend become extremely important. Now there's a lot of other aspects associated with Slim and Sassy. Using Slim and Sassy on a regular basis, and I recommend that you use it daily, it's going to improve glucose utilization. We touched on that just a little bit when we talked about the cinnamon. It's also going to reduce oxidation and inflammation associated with the tissues. Obesity, weight gain is an inflammatory response in the body, and it's important that we reduce those responses, and this is one of the side effects and benefits that you'll get with the Slim and Sassy because of the citrus oils, and specifically because of the peppermint and also because of the cinnamon. Slim and Sassy is going to help you to improve digestion as another side effect and side benefit. Both ginger and peppermint have very strong attributes that way, and one of the ways to improve the way that your body metabolizes its calories and actually reduce your need for calories is to improve the way that you're digesting your food. And there's a lot of research that talks about how both ginger and peppermint accomplish that very thing. Reducing cholesterol, and we touched on that just a little bit when we talked about the risk factors associated with obesity and weight gain, and we said that cinnamon was a good way to do that. Ginger also has very strong effects in helping you to reduce cholesterol. And then we're going to increase energy with 2 R's. I'd like to say that was intentional, but it wasn't. There's not supposed to be 2 R's there. I'm going to have to hire somebody to spell check.
I like energy.
Yeah, so energy. And that's an important feature too, because a lot of times when you're having a process where you're trying to lose weight, one of the biggest factors in why people stop doing that is because they lose their energy levels. You will increase your energy levels by using the Slim and Sassy. Peppermint is a contributor to that, but so are the citrus oils. There's a lot of reasons why we should use Slim and Sassy. I'm really excited about this blend. When we created this and when we went through this process, it was exciting to do. Many of you have heard me say I don't know if I like the name 100%, but I got to tell you, a lot of people now have come to me, and that's exactly what they like about it first is the name. This is a product that will become a mainstay for many people. If you'll take the challenge, if you'll institute this as part of your daily regimen, it's easy to do, it's effective to do. Justin, I'm going to tell you, people are going to have a good experience with this oil. And even if they don't have significant amounts of weight loss initially, over time, they will.
How we use this, there's a lot of questions flooding in. How should I use this every day? We'd like to introduce to everyone the 3-5 model. And as you see there on the screen, it's 3 to 5 drops in water 3 to 5 times a day, or 3 to 5 drops directly on the tongue 3 to 5 times a day. And that's the method that I use because I love the taste. And many like to put it in their water and drink it and sip it throughout the day. It's really personal choice. And then we have many that are also putting it in gelatin or veggie capsules and taking it as they would a supplement or as they would the GX Assist and just taking it in a capsule. So all of these methods are effective, and people are using them all. But what's your feeling, Dr. Hill?
I think this is a good way to do it. I would add one thing, and I would say do it every single time that you drink water. The other thing I would tell you is that I know a lot of people that are just diffusing the oil. They're just breathing it in, and that has some good effects too. I think you need to use it internally. But everything that I talked about tonight, what's interesting is that just breathing the aroma will do that same thing. However, when we do it in this 3-5 model that you're talking about here, you increase the effects. They happen much more quickly, and it's a better approach to use the Slim and Sassy. So for me, personally, I'm using it, and I really like it. I like that it gives me energy. I like that it does curb my appetite. Because I travel so much, carbohydrates seems to be the things that I crave. It really does resolve a lot of that issue for me. But I do it every time I drink water. I put it in there, and I think that's really good. And I do the 3 to 5 drops every single time.
And that's exactly what I'm doing as well. And a lot of people are asking, you know, can I take too much or can I overdose? And one thing I'd like to just point out is when you look at what's in this product, I mean, you see here on the screen all of the ingredients involved in the Slim and Sassy, and what are we looking at? We're looking at food. This is food, and you can have too much of a good thing, but I suspect to have too much Slim and Sassy, you'd have to be taking internally massive quantities a day, which is not something that realistically any of us are going to do.
This is food. This is nutrition for your body. One of the questions I've gotten about Slim and Sassy, and you see the grapefruit there on the screen now, is that can I do the Slim and Sassy if I'm on high blood pressure medication or if I'm on blood thinners?
Right.
I've been told that I shouldn't use I shouldn't eat grapefruit. Let me point out that grapefruit as a food chemically is very different than the essential oil. The essential oil does not come from the pulp or the meat of the food, which is what you would eat and where the precaution is. It actually comes from the peel, and it's cold pressed from that. And when we look at the chemical components of the two, they're very, very different. So personally, I don't have any concern over that. But if you do, I'd recommend you just visit with your doctor and have some discussion with him or her that way.
In stimulating the fat cells in stimulating the cells to lose the fat, and the liver, does that take effect immediately, or is it a gradual thing?
Well, you're going to see two different things that way. One is that we know that when we use the essential oils that we do have a very specific and sometimes a very quick outcome. However, this is a process as well, so I'm not trying to be elusive to your question. It's actually a little bit of both. Some of the metabolic factors that we talked about you'll experience very quickly. For example, like the suppression, changing your cravings, some of the energy levels that are associated with this product. In terms of the actual lipolysis that's taking place and an elimination of a toxicity model, that's something that will take a little bit more time, but will gradually happen and fairly consistently happen until you reach your ideal pinpoint weight with that.
This stuff kills sugar cravings, which of course is going to assist in losing some of those pounds, right? Because we're not going to eat some of the sugary things that we might otherwise eat.
Remember, that's one of the things that was noted in some of those studies that I talked about, is that the peppermint specifically changes the amount of, or the type of cravings that we have, and we actually change to that earlier model of we're consuming more healthy calories when we use the Slim and Sassy. Our desire changes. So very powerful that way.
Amen, brother. We are very sassy, not quite yet slim, but for my part. But I have to tell you that I started actually using the blend before I was making my own blend with the peppermint, grapefruit, ginger, and I dropped 10 pounds in about 2 weeks, and there were some days where I just lost one or 2 pounds a day, just because my metabolism seemed to be speeding up, as well as the reduction in calories that I was able to do because of the the curbing of my appetite. So we're actually I'm actually in Taiwan right now, and we're getting ready to launch this product here in Taiwan, and it's been amazing to me because every time I come to Asia, I don't see very many obese people, but everybody, I just can't believe how excited people are about this product coming into Asia, because even though there's not very many severely overweight people, those people that just want to lose 5 or 10 pounds because it's extremely noticeable to their friends can do so with Slim and Sassy as well.
Dr. Hill, I have never had a webinar where we've had so many comments flooding in. I mean, they're flooding in, and that's not even an understatement. I just have to share a few of them. This one's from Dawn Farr. She says, I agree that Slim and Sassy have eliminated my sugar cravings. I'm a carbohydrate addict, but since I have started using this, I'm able to make much better food choices because I just don't have the cravings. And that's amazing. I crave protein and fresh fruits and vegetables. This stuff is awesome. Another one coming in from, let's see, where did that one go? I have to read this one. This one is good. Oh, but from Megan Vara. I've been taking this product for less than a month and have never felt better, and I'm seeing the sizes come off better than I did with pills and everything else. I love sugar and the bad calories, and it has really helped me out tons. I love that, and the taste is great. I thank my Zumba teacher for introducing the oils to me, and thank you, doTERRA. And I bet I know who that Zumba teacher is. Going once, going twice. Okay, guess not. So you don't have a mic. Okay. Go ahead.
One of the questions we have is, there's two questions I want to address real quickly. One is that when should you take the capsule if you're going to do the capsule? Should you take it before eating? I think that would be the best thing to do. Take it maybe an hour or so before you're going to eat if you choose to do it in a capsule. If you're doing it in the water, which is the way that I'm trying to do it, that's anytime you're drinking, you're going to add the Slim and Sassy, so you have this ongoing. This is one of the things I like about putting it in the water, is that you have this ongoing refreshing cycle associated with. This is one of the things I love about this blend is that all of the oils in this blend have a very high level of safety and no concern for pregnancy or even for younger children. We would just reduce the amount that you were taking. And this is the point that we made earlier. This is more than just weight loss. This is about good, stable metabolism in the body and stimulating the body to function the way that it's supposed to. And that's something that can apply universally, really, to everybody.
You will have accelerated results if you're maintaining a healthy diet and exercising on a regular basis, as we all should. Then it will only further accelerate the metabolic boost that the Slim and Sassy is providing. I've been in this industry for 15 plus years using essential oils. No company in the essential oil world has successfully tackled weight loss and fat burning with just essential oils. No one has done it. And so this blend is so important to doTERRA, and I'm certain will be, if not our #1 selling product, it will be in the top 2 or 3 by the end of the summer. And of that, I'm 100% certain. It's very inexpensive, only $24. And again, this is a billion-dollar market. People all over the world, for the most part, not everyone, of course, but we all have a few extra pounds we want to lose, some of us many, and this is going to be a really effective method of doing that. And so we're super excited about this, and again, this is our largest webinar ever in company history, with more comments and questions and stories than ever before. I met with a woman in Virginia, by the way, 2 weeks ago who'd only been using this for a few weeks, and she had lost several inches and almost 15 pounds. And so after just a few weeks. And so very, very exciting to see the effect this is going to have on people. Now, I do want to just remind everybody of something that's about to end in 3 days. The company's currently offering a promotion where all enrollments receive $50 in free product, which in essence negates the $50 membership fee. So in essence, you get to enroll for free. You get $50 in free product. That is ending on the 15th, which is only 3 days from now. So please keep that in mind and share the word with everyone and anyone, and make sure they know that they can get their wholesale membership, their independent product consultant membership set up with the company. And then also, many of you have been asking, this has been recorded. We will be posting this to the Build doTERRA website later tonight under the webinar archive that you see here in the top left-hand corner. So you can visit that link, and then this presentation will be available for viewing. And then once Dr. Hill has completed his PowerPoint presentation around the Slim and Sassy product, we'll make that available to everyone as well, and it will be something that we can all use to help promote and share this product.